Hello, hello, hello. Welcome, everybody. We are so pleased to be welcoming you live today, and I cannot wait to host what is going to be a really empowering, interesting, and I think potentially transformational webinar. And I would love for you to say hello. How's your day going? Where are you tuning in from? Do say hi. It's the strangest thing when you can see lots of people in line and you haven't yet been able to say hi properly. So just pop, yeah. Hello, Helen. Lovely to hear from you. Hi, hi. Hello, Muriel. Hey, Anna. Hi, Vanessa. Hey, Ginter. Hi. Hi, Veronique. My goodness, haven't seen you for ages. Hi, how are you? Good to see you all here. Hi, Chloe. Hey, hey, hey. We've got a beautiful international audience. I love this. Hi, Patricia. Hello, Claire. Hi, everyone. Hello. I wonder how you're all doing. We're waving back, Sharon, waving back to you in South Carolina. Of course we are. We'll give it a couple of minutes whilst we're letting people connect. Hi, Deborah. Lovely to see you today. So happy to be here with you. Such an amazing opportunity to be connected. Hey, Stephanie. Oh my gosh, we haven't spoken for years. Hi. Hi, Jacqueline. Hello, hello. Oh my goodness, I'm seeing lots and lots and lots of people I haven't spoken to for ages. Hey, George. All right, we're thrilled to be here with you. And unusually, with lots of my webinars today, I get to take a back seat, ask a few questions, and then hand over to Hafer, which I'm very... Caroline, hi. Ah, lovely to see you. It's one of my precious clients. Hi, Caroline. Lovely to see you. So pleased that you could join us. So, so pleased. Hey, Susie. Hey, hey. And I've had a busy day. I've been running around London. And I just got to have a lovely lunch at Jay Shiki, which is a fish restaurant just off Covent Garden, which was delicious. I felt very grateful. And then hot-footed it back to the office for an empowering hour. And I'm really keen to share all of that with you today. Hey, hey. Hi, Ella. Hi. Oh, wonderful. So I'm going to do some intros because today is not about me whatsoever. And so I'm here today with two amazing women. And I wanted to share with all of you that we're not here with Joe today. And by the way, if you can hear the air conditioning going off, I'm not in my normal office because I couldn't be, because there's some kind of leak. And so I'm here in I've rented a space in a part of the building and it's a bit noisy. So please bear with, please bear with. So I'm with two amazing women today. Jo from Bain, who adores Hafer's company and product and is using it across their global management consultancy to completely revolutionize how they save time. I wanted to just let you know she's not very well today. So, but we are here with Christina, we're here with Hafer, and Hafer is the founder and CEO of ShareCal. You're going to get to know her in so much more detail. And here is Christina, who's the head of customer success and is the girl to go to with all of your queries and questions at ShareCal, who was also a former EA. She knows the drill. She knows exactly what it looks like, the challenges, the complexities, the demands of the role, and she's here to help support you too. So we got connected, Hafer, Christina, myself, because we run lots of EA manager roundtables at CNC Search. I have an amazing EA manager community, and I was hearing about Hafer, started with Jo and then a couple of others, about this incredible product, this incredible female founder that was doing this amazing work from a technical viewpoint to really support and empower the role of the EA. And I'm a female founder and I have a natural affinity with any other female founder. There's a special place in hell for women that don't help other women. And so for me, immediately I wanted to speak to Hafer, I wanted to connect, and I wanted to do something to help to highlight the work that she's doing. So that is why we are here. And Jo Chandler just wanted to share with me that if you do not know this product yet, she cannot wait for you to experience its transformational benefits, and that there isn't an EA in Bain that doesn't give it rave reviews. So We're going to start with some intros. I'm going to ask a couple of questions for Haifa and Christina, and then we are going to get into what is this product, how is it going to revolutionize our lives, and how do we adopt it? So, hi, Haifa.
Hi.
Hi.
Great to meet everyone here. Yeah.
Yeah. So I would love to understand, first of all, could you give me a little bit of an overview of your story? Where did this incredible ShareCal product come from?
Yeah, absolutely. So I actually, so I used to work on the consulting side at Bain, and I worked with, just happened to be in my office, happened to be right next to a team of wonderful EAs. This was in San Francisco, supporting some of the partners in San Francisco. And some of them had some really cool ideas about things they wanted to see built into Outlook to make their days easier. And so it really just started as like a weekend side project. You know, I have a background in tech and software. And so we kind of developed what initially was just this time zone converter that allowed you to type out times, like text across time zones. And so it was like a weekend thing that we built and shared with the EAs at that company. And they absolutely loved it. So the EAs in San Francisco shared with the EAs in Georgia and New York, and it spread to London. And then Joe's team at Bain caught wind of it and really, so that was the beginning, and they really helped us to kind of like collaboratively design, iterate, and make the product ultimately what it is today. So, you know, since then it's transformed from that initial weekend project to, you know, we run our own software company, does a whole lot more things than what it did at the very beginning. But I basically think of it as it's really like the brainchild of the ideas of hundreds of EAs all over the world. And we're continuing to work with EAs to continue to improve the product.
Can I just ask you, from a personal perspective, what have you learned on your journey that perhaps you didn't know before you founded a business?
Yeah. Oh, that's a great question. So, from the very beginning, I was very, very focused, like just on the users who are using the product. And so, and I think actually you gave me some of this advice too early on, where it's like, you know, we can build the best product in the world for EAs, and they'll use it, and they'll love it, and it'll just be wonderful. One thing I've kind of grown to learn is the importance of kind of like connecting with you know, the buyers and the different stakeholders who are often in, you know, in IT or senior leadership, and kind of bridging the gap between, you know, describing the value to the EAs versus the value to the leadership. Because that's ultimately really important when like EAs now get really excited about our tool, bring it into their company. It's like we have to be able to not just speak to the user experience, right? But like, what is the value that's delivered to the business as well?
I love that. And Christina, so tell us a little bit about how you have landed with this awesome founder and at ShareCal. Talk to us about that journey, that decision-making process.
Oh, how much time do I have, Lucy? Because I could go on.
Well, we've got an hour for the whole thing, Christina, so you know.
Okay, and I just want to echo the emphasis of awesome. Haifa is not going to brag on herself, but she is an exemplary founder, and I am very grateful to be a chair, Cal. How I landed, this is something I'm always talking about on LinkedIn. LinkedIn definitely brought a level of awareness between Haifa and myself as to ShareCal, one another, what it is that we were both passionate about, so to speak. And so LinkedIn definitely played a part in that exposure piece. And Haifa had shared, I'd been stalking ShareCal long enough. And when an opportunity presented itself, yes, long story short, I ran headfirst toward it. And here I am today, a few months into my role, and absolutely thrilled about what ShareCal has set out to do and what it's doing currently. Yeah.
Well, I mean, no better endorsement than that, Hafer, that is for sure. And listen, Christina, Hafer, we are pretty much every room I'm in with a group of VAs right now, we are talking about AI. We are worried, we're excited, we're adopting, we're back to being worried again. I mean, it's like this whole great big soup of feelings about AI and what it means for us. And I think we are confused. I think I'm going to speak for most people here, and we're confused about how we're supposed to be feeling about it. But I'd love to know what you're both seeing and hearing when it comes to this topic, this hot topic. Tell us a bit more about that, both of you.
Yeah. Yeah, I think you just summed it up really nicely. It's the whole mix of emotions, right? There's a lot of, excitement. AI can be so empowering because it helps us free up our time currently spent on the mundane to do more strategic activities. At the same time, I think we're at a point and there's always been technological revolutions, right? Like once upon a time, what's now considered an EA role. It's like we've evolved from, secretaries who are doing lots and lots of just using a typewriter, right? And then typewriters now no longer exist, and everybody started using word processors. And we've seen so many different shifts, but I think what people are feeling a bit right now is that it just feels like it's changing so fast, right? With the launch of ChatGPT and the massive adoption. But I think just like any other technological shift in history, there's things to be really excited about. And I think as long as, I always encourage all EAs to use AI to the extent that they can in their day-to-day, just because there's so much opportunity to help, like not only like elevate yourself and your own skills, but even to be like at the forefront in terms of having those conversations with your company about AI. And so I always just encourage people to use it to the extent that they can in their work, and if not their work, like use it in your day-to-day, when you're trying to plan things personally, like use ChatGPT and get comfortable with it, because it's definitely here to stay.
Oh, that is for certain. And change is the only certainty in life, right? Christina, was there something you'd like to add to that?
I mean, Haifa summed it up very nicely, but what's been refreshing to see on the ShareCal side is definitely the EAs getting very like in the front of finding things that help them, right? So just seeing them even lead these conversations, wanting to understand like what can put more time back into my day so that I can continue to do all the strategic work that I'm already doing. So we're seeing a lot of that proactiveness from the EA side, and that's just absolutely amazing, right? Because it's a part of ownership. So, yeah.
I mean, ultimately, EAs are the architects of organizational success. So
Yeah.
anyone that does not recognize that is, well, they are missing a huge trick, right? So in terms of your role as head of customer services and as head of customer success, Christina, are there any particular stories that stick out for you before we start to move towards seeing what this amazing product is?
Oh, man. Well, I get to talk to EAs daily, right? So I have tons of stories, but one that I could think of most recently was a one-on-one call with an EA who, we're walking through ShareCal. We're talking all about the pain points that come with scheduling and calendar management and all the different systems that EAs build without even realizing that make sure they don't drop any of the balls, without even seeing like just how much great work she's doing, right? And so we're talking about ShareCal, and she literally like sits up in her chair and she goes, wait, ShareCal is the assistant for the assistant. And it was just this aha moment of there's something out there for me that I get to kind of rein in and have help me. And she's like, well, I'm always focused on the executive that I'm supporting. And now I'm backed by Share. It was just, we paused, we just sat and we paused, and she took in a deep breath and she was like, it's just nice for a change to see us being prioritized. And yeah, so that would definitely be one of the most recent stories that stuck with me.
Oh, I mean, that's an emotive story. It's made me kind of get all the kind of feels. That's amazing. I love it. Yeah, me too. Jasmine's just said, I love that. I'm like, yes, me too. And Haifa, what are you seeing coming our way over the next 5 years? I think we've had more technological advancement and change in the last 18 months than we've had in the last, what it feels like the last 20 years. So what are we, although, there was a time when I was at university when we didn't even have Google. I know that makes me quite old, but I mean, we didn't even have Google. We didn't even have mobile phones. So we adapted to that. Sometimes I think we get too scared about technology and what it's going to mean. But hey, Ava, tell me about what's coming our way.
Yeah. So, I think as AI continues to improve, I think, the many roles are going to continue to evolve. Put simply, for executive assistants, I think we're just going to see the role continue to evolve to become more strategic, more higher powered, spending more time on, on the things that move the fundamentals of the business, a little bit less time on things like expenses and communicating times across time zones, that sort of thing. So I think it's something to be excited about.
Well, excitement, joy, fun, more time, all of these things sound like gifts that ShareCal can bring. And who doesn't want more of that? Life is so serious. The world is so complex. We need more levity. We need more time. We need more space. And I'm really excited to watch your demo. So everybody that is online right now, I'm really thrilled now to hand over to Hafer and to encourage you, if you have questions, to ask Christina. That is Christina's mission and purpose, is to support you. And so, Hafer, I'm going to hand over now, if that's okay. And I'm really looking forward to watching what you're about to share.
Yeah, sounds great. So Christina has been prepping for this. So I'm actually going to have Christina will take the stage and walk through a quick demo of ShareCal. And I'll be helping with manning the chat. Everyone, feel free to pop your questions or comments into the chat, and we'll go from there.
All righty, let's go. Okay, Hafer, can you confirm that you can see my screen?
Yes, we can see.
Perfect. Okay, so what we're looking at right now is the main ShareCal view. I saw a few questions about Microsoft. So yes, this is synced directly with my Outlook calendar. And to the left are all the additional scheduling tasks and activities that you can take within ShareCal that ultimately make scheduling the magic you are about to see unfold right now before your eyes. So let's kick off with proposed times. It is definitely a beloved feature, as it really helps with one of the most common scheduling tasks, right? Which is offering availability on behalf of your executive, initiating scheduling requests, saying, hey, looking to grab time with your executive, let me know if any of these times work for you. And normally what that looks like, I mean, we all know it's a very manual process, right? You're pulling up the calendar, you're pulling up your email draft, you're typing out times. I had a conversation this week actually with an EA who we kind of bonded over the fact that we definitely used to write times out even on a sticky note, just to keep us real organized while we're grabbing times from the calendar to then type them out on the email. But proposed times makes that much faster. So again, you'd come back to proposed times and you'd start to click and drag throughout the calendar the availability that you want to offer on behalf of your executive, right? So right now, all you're doing is clicking on the calendar, choosing the times that work, and you would copy these times and bring them into the body of an email and paste them in. And that's it. Those times have been typed out for you. There is no need to write them out. There's no sticky note involved. And what probably would take, I don't know, a matter of minutes, depending on what it is that you're really scheduling for, now just becomes seconds. So that's the start of proposed times. What's also really nice about proposed times, I'm imagining there are, many of you schedule across different time zones, and we've got tons of time zones just on this call. I saw Singapore, London, New York, everywhere. So if you wanted to then offer some times that worked, let's say for the UK, by a quick add, click of a button, here are your UK times typed out as well. So again, no need to even deal with the time zone conversion and writing out multiple sets of time. It's typed out for you. And if you copy them and bring them right back into the body of that email, it brings it through. But what's also nice is that it keeps the color that helps with the differentiation of the time zones that are being offered. So that's proposed times. Again, you're just clicking across the calendar. We like to call it painting on top of the calendar. Now, if anyone is a fan of holds, you're constantly offering times that work for your executive, so much so that you're, left to waiting for people to respond. You run the risk of double booking them, offering multiple times to multiple clients. If you were to come in and now click on this add hold button, these slots that we've now offered, you can turn into holds. And what's really nice is you don't have to manually create them one by one. So let's say we wanted to say, hold for meeting with Lucy. We would save those holds. And ShareCal is going to create them all as one batch. So you can see them really lightly colored here. And so now I'm cognizant of what I've offered to whom. And if, let's say, Lucy gets back to me, the meeting's been scheduled, I can come over here to the left to my meeting tracker. And this is going to house all my ShareCal related activity. And right here, we see that meeting with Lucy. If I click on delete, and now I go back to my calendar, those holds have also been deleted. So they've been added as one group and now deleted as one group. So, and I will confess, Diary of a Former EA, holds were certainly, they collected a lot of virtual dust. I will just say that. Definitely lost them a time or two, or you come across one and you're like, what does this have to do with anything? So holds is definitely a nice feature for those who use it. I want to go back to time zones really quickly. So what's nice as well, I don't know if any of you work in Outlook in a way where you have different time zones that you schedule across consistently pulled up to the left side of the calendar. So right now, Outlook limits you to bringing in, I think it's 3 time zones. So with ShareCal, one, you can pull up more than 3. So let's bring in Mountain Time. So you've got your time zones pulled up. And what's really nice is if we go back to proposed times, I'm able to make sure I'm offering times that are favorable for everybody, right? And so finding those sweet spots of time that work, but at the same time, proposed times is bringing in those time zones for me automatically. Now, this is also a matter of preference. You may say, hey, I'm going to schedule this, initiate this request, and I don't want to offer my executive's time zone. So a quick toggle on and off, time zones are removed. And you copy and paste, and you are well on your way to getting that meeting secured. Okay, I'm going to pause. Hey, is there anything I should cover? Any questions coming in related to proposed times before I move on?
There was the question, once the meeting is booked, do all the holds disappear automatically? So maybe if you could just cover that one quickly.
Yes. I love that. Okay, so let's say we've created these holds. And now you've gotten that confirmation of the meeting, and you're now going to schedule that meeting. So yes, you could delete them all as one if you want, but you could also come and convert an existing hold into a meeting. And so let's create this meeting. Let's toggle on Zoom. We're set for an hour. You would bring in your attendees. And when you click on create, if you notice here, holds will be removed. It's going to now remove the rest of the holds that existed and convert the one hold you chose into a meeting. So that's another way to get rid of holds if you're creating the meeting as well. Great question. Okay. Let's move on to another feature. I don't know if this is top favorite, but definitely top 3. Because there are too many favorites. Smart times. So this is really helpful when you are on the receiving end of that scheduling request. So someone's reached out to you, they want to understand what times work best for your executive, and they've provided you with times that already work for theirs. So normally you'd come to the calendar, cross-check against what's been offered. You might even toggle across different weeks, depending on how far, how wide the range of times are. And then you deduce what works best and respond to that email. With smart times, let's take an example. So I received a request for times that work for my executive, Georgia. So I'm going to copy these times that have come in. And with smart times, click on this little magic button in the top right. I'm going to paste them in. And let's see what we have. I've been offered 3 times that work in the UK, and my executive is on Pacific time, and across the 14th, 19th, and 22nd of May. So I would click on visualize, and Smart Times is simply going to do exactly that. Bring in those 3 dates only. So now I'm not toggling in between different weeks. And help me just visualize this box covered, like you see this purple box with the lines. It's helping me visualize what's been offered. Again, similarly like painting on top of the calendar. And if you notice to the left, it's also brought that UK time zone in as well. And so at a quick glance, I can deduce that, okay, not everything that's been offered works, but there are 1 or 2 times that work. And so let's say I want to now respond to Anna, who's made that request. I could come here and click on propose times and just click on the times that I want to offer. And I may say, I'm just going to offer them back in UK times, copy. And when I go back to that email, I can just reply and be well on my way to say, here's what, by the way, typing on a video is always nerve-wracking. Here's what works. There we go. And we paste those times in, and I'm well on my way to confirming what works for my executive. So that's smart times.
Chime in on this one. This one is a really cool example of how AI can help you in your day-to-day. Someone is sending you times in any time zone. Maybe it's not even formatted quite properly. There could be typos. But the cool thing about the Smart Times feature is that the AI is able to process all of that, do that time zone conversion for you, and allow you to instantly visualize those times, right? So you don't have to do the mental math of converting the time zone or kind of do the back and forth between your email and your calendar. It just processes that for you and allows you to just instantly visualize. So saves you all that time and also helps avoid making mistakes in that process.
Oh, thank you for that, Hazel. I see a question in regards to pulling up different calendars. So I want to catch that while we're still within the proposed and smart times. So the answer is yes. If it's proposed times, you can bring in additional calendars if you'd like, as many as you'd like, and even toggle between the different types of views that are, the day view is very helpful. It pulls in all the colors and allows you to really see the meat of what's going on with the calendar. So yes, you can bring in different calendars. Again, click and offer the times that work, copy them, and send them out, whether it's directly to the executive or the EA. So yes, great question there. Okay. Let's now move on to booking links. So if anyone works in an organization where, performance review season is a heavy lift, your executive loves to have skip level meetings or, casual check-ins with team members, opening up their calendar for those high volume one-on-ones. What's really nice is booking links not only helps you shorten that process, no need to, reach out to everyone, offer the times that work for your executive, go back and forth with scheduling and creating the invites. Booking links allows you to come in, and let's say we wanted to set up some time for performance reviews. Oh my gosh. Yep. My brain is like, it's time to spell. We're going to forget. Okay, so performance reviews. So we would label it. I'm scheduling booking these links on behalf of Georgia, my executive. We want to offer, she wants to offer some 30-minute meetings. So I would just come and click and drag on what's available. I would probably toggle through a few weeks to make sure I offer a wide range of time. And Zoom will be automatically turned on for me, and I can create my booking link, right? So if you notice, what we're doing here is we're controlling the times that are being offered on Georgia's calendar, but still allowing the external individuals. So when we click on this booking link, it's going to take me to the public view. So I've sent out that email and said, hey, it's that time of year. Please grab the best 30-minute slot that works for you. And what happens is now they'll come, fill in this form, name and email, choose a slot, and click on submit. And what's going to happen at this point is the meeting is now scheduled. It's on Georgia's calendar. If I'm the one that's interacting with the link, it's on my calendar. And the slot that I've chosen is now gone. So booking links act on a first come, first serve basis, which minimizes any opportunity for double booking. And again, I'm still controlling what's being offered on Georgia's calendar, but allowing the flexibility of others being able to just quickly find the times that work best for them, taking me out of the middle of having to deal with all of the back and forth, which certainly saves time when you think of those high volume one-on-one meetings, especially if you have an executive who has, for example, in performance review, a ton of direct reports. So that's booking links. What's also nice about booking links is similarly within your meeting tracker. Let me take you to an example of an existing booking link. If we go to the admin view, you're able to view responses. And so you're able to keep track of like who's responded to your booking link. You sent out an email to 10. And so far I have 8 responses. Well, I know I need to chase down 2 other individuals. So you're still able to keep track of everything nice and organized. You're notified as the as the links are used. You're notified as slots are being turned into invites, just allowing you to still make that whole process pretty smooth. So that's booking links. Okay, let me show you another feature called Auto Find Time. So similarly to Smart Times, this is definitely an AI-powered feature, one that helps a lot. If you think about trying to find availability across very busy calendars, right? Or multiple executives. You know, one executive is one thing. You're able to kind of look through and you're offering the times. 2 or more becomes a crowd or becomes a party. So let's say we wanted to find times that work for Georgia, Michelle, and Craig. So if you notice, ShareCal's already pulled in the different time zones. So I'm now aware that, hey, Michelle's in ET, Georgia and Craig are PT. And I want to find some times that work with them for a 30-minute meeting by, what's today, the 8th? So by next Wednesday, right? So this is where that AI component comes in. I can tell ShareCal, hey, I have a time limit around this. I want to find 30 minutes by next Wednesday and have it suggest meeting times. Now, what's really nice is it's going to scan the calendar between today and Wednesday, and it's going to suggest the times that work best. So if you notice, I've got 2 options, very busy calendars, but 2 is better than 0. And I've got the opportunity to do several things here. I can copy the times, reach out to their EAs directly and say, hey, looking to find time between the 3, let me know if this works. Or if I have the opportunity to say, hey, this is whatever time I find I'm scheduling, I can click directly on one of the slots and get that meeting set up. And if you notice, we've got Craig and Michelle already pulled in. Georgia is the organizer, and I can, a matter of toggling on Zoom and just setting up that invite and click create. And now you've got a whole meeting already scheduled. And you're not having to really try to find all the times. Okay, yes, so that's Smart Times. Hafe, is there any question that I can answer live? I know you are furiously manning the chat, so thank you.
So there were some questions back to the booking links about double booking. So maybe if you could just kind of like iterate how that first come, first serve basis works.
Yes, yes, absolutely. All right, let's go back. Let's see, let's go back to an actual booking link. Let's go back to the meeting tracker. Let's see the public view. Okay, so let's say this is the link that we've sent out. And let's say I come and I fill out this link and I choose the 13th at 11:30. So I fill out my name and email. I choose the slot that works for me and I click on submit, right? So now when I go back to ShareCal, if I were to go back to that booking link, the public view of that link, which is what other recipients would see, if I go back to the public view, that 11:30 slot that I chose is gone. So I've already scheduled a meeting. The calendar is set. Georgia has the call, I have the call. And now when Hafa comes, for example, to book her performance review, there's no opportunity for her to choose that 11:30 slot because it's already gone. And that's how it minimizes the opportunity for double bookings, because the link stays as current and live in real time as it's engaged with. So I hope that answers that question. Okay, I want to be mindful of time because 30 minutes is not enough to talk about all things ShareCal. Okay, let me share another feature, or maybe let me touch on the audit and the digest really quickly. So these 2 features are great for time management and getting that nice snapshot of what's happening on the executive's calendar in a given day, week, month. So if anyone uses a lot of like categories, and so you bulk invites based on internal versus external meetings, or you schedule a lot of focus time, the audit is really helpful for downloading good reports of how time is being spent. Which is nice for them being able to have that kind of strategic conversation with your executive, right? You can make recommendations of, hey, it looks like you're spending X amount of hours in a given week or month over here, which is taking away from you getting that carved out focus time that we've been trying to get you. So the audit is a nice way to just download how time is being spent across the different categories versus the digest, excuse me, that's going to give you just a good snapshot of a week. Let's say your executive wants to just understand at the end of every Friday, what's the following week looking like? The digest is similar, where you can download that Excel report and get a good visual of all the meetings, who's attending, what's confirmed, maybe flag any conflicts that exist on the calendar. Again, great for that dialogue with the executive and that strategic partnership that we know exists between EAs and execs. So that's the audit and the digest. So now for what is to come, a nice sneak peek for you all. Our calendar chat. This is a new feature, one that we are testing and definitely building out on the back end. And this is another AI-powered feature that honestly, so much feedback from EAs about how difficult it is to search in Outlook, right? And we all know executives always want to figure out what's that random meeting I had in the past, what's coming up in the future. And sometimes it doesn't matter how well you type out the details, you're not finding whether it's the meeting or the event that took place on the calendar. So this is where the calendar chat comes in. So you could, like it says, chat with the calendar. So for example, let's say I wanted to understand, how many performance reviews does Georgia have this month? Oh my goodness. Okay, there we go. What's also nice is the calendar chat also interprets some of my grammatical errors. So if I spelled George's name incorrectly, it would be okay. So instead of having to just go through the calendar, and for the purpose of the demo, right? We know an executive's actual calendar looks even far more busy. There's usually never this much free space on your busy executive's calendar. And so you're trying to understand how many performance reviews are in the calendar already. The goal is to get all performance reviews done by the end of May. And so instead of having to click through every week, day, and try to find the performance reviews, you'd be able to come in and just ask the calendar chat how many. And it's going to drum up this answer for you that gives you details around the number. And what's nice is, for example, here, okay, I've got 8 performance reviews scheduled in May. It's bringing them up for me and showing me who, what, when, and where. But my executive has 9 direct reports. So who's missing? And so this is helpful in making sure that it might be me that also doesn't have my performance review ready. But nonetheless, I'm able to really say, okay, 8 out of 9 are scheduled. Who's the one missing? And make sure that meeting gets put on the calendar and in time. So that's what's to come behind the calendar chat. And you could ask it a myriad of questions, right? Like, when was my last meeting with HAFA? Do I have an upcoming meeting with HAFA? All the types of questions you're usually looking for, you can ask the calendar chat. So that's what's to come. I see a lot of all caps and exclamation marks, so it sounds like that's resonating. I love it. Okay, any other questions for me, HAFA?
I think I've got to most of them. Questions around when the calendar chat will be available for everyone. So it's actually already available to like a few of our users who are helping with the beta testing and improving it. So every time we develop a new feature, we work with the team of EAs to help improve it, hear your feedback, hear your ideas to make it as helpful as possible for everyone. So right now we've got about 10 or 20 EAs kind of currently loving the calendar chat and giving us that feedback. It'll become broadly available to everyone likely in the next month or two, kind of depending. We're getting lots of both like questions and ideas and requests. It seems like with the calendar chat in particular, like there's so many wonderful ideas that we're hearing from EAs. And so it's just a matter of like how quickly our engineering team can implement them all.
Love it. Okay. Any other questions? Let me see.
So I'd see some questions around, received this a few times. Does everyone have to use the software, just the EAs? Just the EAs, or even, you can be at 100-person company, and like you can just sign up as an individual and just use it on behalf of your executives' calendars. So this very much like doesn't have to involve your executive, right? They don't really care how you're doing the calendaring, right? They just want to know that it gets done and gets done well. And so you don't have to kind of include them in that process. You can just sign up for yourself as an individual. I see some other questions around data concerns. So we do work with a lot of very large companies that have very strict enterprise kind of grade security requirements. So it's just a matter of a conversation with IT, and we can share with you all of our security certifications, that sort of thing. Again, we built this from the ground up, designed to work for large enterprises, and so data protection and security is our #1 priority here.
We've got a question. Do you schedule meetings through ShareCal and it appears automatically on the Outlook calendar? That is exactly correct. Yes. So it syncs with your calendar, and I mean very quickly. I mean just a matter of seconds. So what's in Outlook is going to be mirrored in ShareCal and vice versa. And if you were to generate an invite, you're not here to maybe use any of the additional features. You just want to get an invite set up. You just click on this create event, or anywhere in the calendar for that matter, and you get your meeting set up, and it's going to automatically appear in Outlook as well. Yes. Great question.
Seems like there is a request for, so regarding languages. So there is, whatever language your calendar is in, it'll pull through that language in ShareCal. There's also an option to choose the language that you're sharing time. So for example, when we speak with folks in France, oftentimes we find that there's sometimes setting times in English, sometimes in French. And so you have the ability to actually set up different email templates, so you can kind of easily shift back and forth between the two. Christina, do you want to open the settings real quick in the templates, just so people can have a glimpse at that?
Let me just show. You come over here to the top right, you click on settings. Here's where you get to bring in all those customizations. You can add multiple templates. You can change the format for your dates, how you like things to be written out, and plug and play between the different templates as you use it within ShareCal. And you can see here's where you could change the language settings. Yes. Great question. Would we offer full trainings if we were to take it up for a team? We would certainly come and bring you a customized version of this and speak to you one-on-one within your company. Maybe it's a good time to drop in the contact us form. If you ever...
Let me do that
okay.
again.
You got it?
Yeah.
If you want to reach out to us directly, the contact us form is a great way to get in touch with us post the webinar.
So you can go to this form, just enter your work email, and Christina will be in touch with you shortly afterwards.
Yes. I love it. Okay, I do want to be mindful of time. I think there was so many good questions rolling in. My eyes are trying to keep up. Is it compatible with Teams? Yes, it is. Both Teams and Zoom. Yes.
All right. Questions rolling in faster than I can respond. So I'm going to take the Q&A questions, Christine, and if you want to just answer some of them live.
Yeah. Can you prioritize attendees, meaning Mary is most important, but if Ben can't come, schedule anyway? Yes. So similarly to Outlook, right? You can, flag attendees as, required or optional. You can search for availability across the calendars that you want to make sure the time works for, and just bring in the additional attendees. So yes, I hope that answers your question. You could take full control as to who you want to center the scheduling around, depending on their level of priority in the meeting.
We've
Well,
got some questions on grids and polls too, Christina. So I wonder if you want to just show a filled out grid or a filled out poll just for those who have questions around that. So Anna said that she's looking for a tool to gather availability between people with multiple external calendars. So she doesn't have access, just wants to gather availability.
Oh, yes, yes, yes. So we covered booking links, which was great for those high volume one-on-ones. Grid and polls are great for gathering availability across groups. They're interactive and the format is a bit different. So if we were go through the process of creating the grid, it will be similar to proposed times, clicking and dragging and choosing the slots that work best for your executive before offering the link to the grid. But let's look at a grid that's, sorry, allergies have been getting the best of me. Okay, let's look at a grid that's already been filled out. So we're looking to find time that work with the senior leadership team for a strategy session. And I've offered this link, I've sent it out to all attendees, whether internal or external, and they've come in and just confirmed what works best for them. So by a quick hovering over of the names of those who are going to attend the meeting, you could see based on green being available, red being unavailable, that light yellow being tentative, I have a gauge of like, okay, here's what works for everyone. Now, what's nice is this is the results. So the results work in a way where from the lightest color from white, meaning like low availability, not a favorable time, all the way to that dark green color, you're able to see what works best. And so we've got this window right here that works really well for everyone. And if I were to expand the results, it gives me this view that's nice for a myriad of things, right? You may want to copy this, paste it into an email, and just kind of go back and forth with your executive a little bit more and say, hey, here's where we landed, here's why. Additionally, you can book the meeting directly. So the grid is giving you that preferred window of time that works best for everyone. At the same time, you're able to, you know all the nuance, you know all the details. You can edit this to be whatever time it is that you want, and you can bring in all the different attendees. You could toggle off whether it's team or Zooms, maybe it's an in-person location, you can add that address and create that event, and you are well on your way to scheduling that meeting with that group. So that's grids. Okay.
Want to quickly highlight too just what a poll looks like?
Yep. I was about to say, let me show the comparison to a poll. So see, I should have some polls created. Let's go to the public view. So this is what a poll looks like, that public link of a poll. So unlike the grid, and maybe this is an important call out, sometimes it's helpful. The grid is going to give you anonymity as to who's filling out the grid. You come to the grid and it's just you filling it out, providing your availability. And on the back end as the admin, I can see who's engaged with the poll so far. Sorry, the grid. The poll is more of a public view. So if I'm the EA now coming behind this already filled out poll, I can see what works for these 3 executives. I can come and add that response on behalf of my executive, or if I'm the individual confirming what works best for me, I can just come in and add that response and choose the time that works. And when I click save, it's going to add to this list. And if you notice right up here, based on what Georgia, Austin, and Haifa have confirmed that work for them, this purple star is already just showing me what's the best time that works for everyone who's filled out the poll so far. And when it's done collecting all the availability, I can go ahead and schedule the meeting and do whatever is necessary to get the call set up. So that's the difference with the poll and the grid. Okay. Let's go back to ShareCal. Any other questions? I have chill bumps. This is awesome. Not a question, just a statement, but I love it.
I think we've gotten to most of them. If folks have additional questions, again, you can always reach out to us in the via the contact form, and Christina will get back to you same day. She's fast. So yeah. Dropping again that contact us link here.
Thank you, Haifa.
Maybe last thing before we wrap up, could be helpful to just pop into the time zone converter, because that's a feature that any EA can use, regardless of whether you've signed up or not. And so it's helpful for people as they're waiting for their IT department. So some of you might be using Time and Date or World Time Buddy. This is another example of a time zone converter that anyone can use. I'll drop the link into the chat. But basically it allows you to, in addition to helping you kind of visualize different time zones and what's a reasonable time for the meeting based on all these different time zones, you can also use it to type out text across different time zones. And there's also an AI mode where you can paste in a list of times that someone sends you and have it convert to your own time zone. So, so feel free to use that, bookmark it, and use it every day. Yeah. All right, with that, I think we'll wrap up. Looks like Lucy's back on.
Okay, thank you so, so much. Thank you all for being so interactive. As Hafer and Christina said, they are there to support you, help you understand this incredible platform in more detail. So any questions, any queries, you can reach out to both Hafer and Christina, and they will absolutely be able to guide you, support you, and answer any questions that you or your team or your execs may have on the product. And thank you so much. Thank you. It looks like it just is awesome. Absolutely awesome.
Thank you for having
everyone. Bye. Bye-bye.
A good one. Thank you. Thanks, Lucy.
Thank you.
Bye.
Thank everyone.